Welcome to Aim Down Sights, a new series that aims to bring you the lowdown on all the latest Call of Duty information that comes into our sights. It almost worked, didn't it? I'm Dan Marr, and I'll be here every week between now and November to bring you the latest Advanced Warfare intel, as well as all manner of other entertaining stuff like interviews, features, challenges, and, if health and safety permits, indoor pyrotechnics. There will be no indoor pyrotechnics. There will, however, be plenty of opportunities for you, the COD-loving community, to get involved, including some incredible competitions that will give you a chance to get early hands-on time with Advanced Warfare. I'm joined in the studio by fellow presenter and esports commentator Alan Bryce, better known to most as Brycey. Brycey, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. Looking fresh, despite what I understand was a pretty late finish.
Yeah, it was a long tournament. I did a qualifier for G4E for a big tournament coming up, and it ended about 4 a.m.
Successful tournament, though.
Oh, massively successful, but just run a little bit longer than we hoped.
Good stuff, and he's joined us in the studio this morning. What a professional. Right, let's get straight into the latest Call of Duty intel. Now, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare may still be over 4 months away, but there's already a pretty good reason to get your order in early. Anyone who pre-orders the game before its 4th of November release date will bag themselves the Advanced Arsenal pack comprising a bullet brass exoskeleton and the M1 Quantum. M1 Quantum sounds a bit like a new razor with 7 blades and a lubricating strip, but it's actually a battery-powered, rapid-repeating, directed energy weapon that recharges rather than reloads. It also comes in fetching bullet brass, perfectly complementing your sexy exoskeleton and avoiding any unflattering comments from other fashionistas on the field. Now, the directed energy weapon, it's a new class. I understand it's going to sit alongside the SMGs, assault rifles, everything we're used to. How do you see this new method, you know, no reload but a recharge, kind of affecting play?
It's kind of interesting the way this is going to play into the game mechanics, because if you're in a choke point and there's a lot of bodies and you're in a high traffic area, then you're probably going to end up hitting that recharge, which is actually longer than a reload. But if you kind of hold off a little bit and kind of, I should say, medium traffic, you don't want to be too far away, otherwise it's kind of pointless, you're not going to need to reload quick. But in an area where you can let that gun recharge so you don't have to go for the reload, you're going to be able to kind of drop bodies fairly quickly without having to worry about being vulnerable. Interesting.
It reminds me a bit of using a gun in placement and making sure it doesn't overheat, because then you get that massive cooldown period. Should be really similar. Cool. Now here's a letter from fabricated viewer iFraudius, who writes, "Dear Aim Down Sights, I've been watching the show since day one and have never felt the urge to write in, until now. I'm a PlayStation and or PC owner, eagerly awaiting the 3rd DLC pack for Call of Duty Ghosts, but I don't know when it's coming out. Can you tell me?" Yours non-existently, Ivor Fraudius. Well, Ivor, thanks for sticking with us over the years. Your support means the world to everyone who's worked on the show, living or missing, fear dead. To answer your question, Invasion, the 3rd DLC pack for Ghosts, hits both PSN and PC on the 3rd of July. The pack contains 4 new multiplayer maps: Departed, Pharaoh, Mutiny, and Modern Warfare 2 fan favourite Favela, plus Awakening, the 3rd episode of the Extinction Saga. But the really important bit is that you can transform into a death mariachi and summon ghost pirates, although not at the same time, because that would be ridiculous. Favela making a return.
Yes.
This must be cause for celebration.
Certainly, I mean, this map is really great for search and destroy. But also, I mean, there's one little thing that I missed. They used to have bulletproof banana leaves on the map on one of the roofs. That was missing. But other than that, it's a great map, and I've played a little bit myself, and I really like kind of get back into it. It's kind of throwback to nostalgia.
What was the tactical advantage of the banana leaves?
Well, it looked like you were vulnerable on top of the roof, but admittedly you kind of just get in between the leaves and nobody could hit you. It was great. People are fine, but why is he not dying? And there's like bulletproof leaves.
Bulletproof banana leaves. Why aren't they back? Fantastic. Right, time for our feature. One of the best kept secrets in the games industry is E3, a clandestine annual gathering that takes place in the tiny village of Los Angeles. Here, the gaming elders converge to show their latest creations while quietly comparing it to their rivals' efforts, much like men stealing glances at a public urinal. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare made its official debut at E3, and by all accounts, it's looking pretty magnificent. Some of the guys at GameSpot saw more than most and seemed pretty enthused. See for yourself as you watch them chat about it right now.
I'm a huge fan of future guns that have holographic readouts that show my bullets on my gun. That is totally where it's at, but yeah.
The thing I was really curious about was to know how the exosuit is going to affect level design and gameplay. Are you going to be able to use it kind of freely throughout each level, or is it just going to be sort of specific sequences where you're going to get to do those power jumps or those like mega punches and all that stuff that you can do with this new exosuit? They were a little cagey about the full campaign layout, but the exosuit does have a certain customizability to it. You can put sort of points into jumping, points into stealthing that will affect your playstyle throughout the campaign, supposedly. So that leads me to believe that you're going to get to do this like pretty frequently throughout the campaign, and that excites me because a lot of Call of Duty's campaign strengths are variety. And the exosuit seems like a way to create that kind of variety, but in a player-driven way, not in a you're in this specific scenario, now use this specific gadget kind of way.
People don't want freedom.
Honestly, I'm not sure how that exosuit stuff is going to work in multiplayer. I guess, you know, you're talking about leaning into a more unbalanced kind of multiplayer than Call of Duty's even used to. I mean, that's getting into what is certainly a popular multiplayer kind of thing that you've seen in Halo and Crysis and other games like that. But it's going to be a first for Call of Duty, and it's going to be interesting to see how they pull that together.
So I think what has me the most stoked for Call of Duty in terms of what Advanced Warfare can bring to the table is really, it boils down to the story. I love good storytelling. It's something I thought that the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare did great, and I think it's just kind of tinkered off from then. So I'm really excited to see what Sledgehammer can do with this cool geopolitical nightmare of a situation that I'm pretty sure we're headed towards anyways. So, you know, let's get a glimpse of what the next 50 years of our lives are going to be like.
And that's where I come in.
We didn't really get a chance to put the game into context until E3. That was our first chance to check out what was a pretty extended gameplay demo of the game. The exosuit looks really cool. The smart grenades look awesome. So what I want to know is like all those really cool gadgets that we see in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, are they all going to be in multiplayer, or is multiplayer going to be more traditional, more standard guns, more kind of standard sense of movement running around? Or are we going to be able to climb all over the maps using those climbing gloves? Can we jump 30 feet in the air using those exosuits? So that's the kind of stuff that I want to know about Advanced Warfare.
I kind of get the impression that they know they've got to do some big stuff, and I think one of the reasons why, when the first things we saw was Kevin Spacey, I think to the people that make Call of Duty, having Kevin Spacey in a trailer for a Call of Duty game is a big statement, you know what I'm saying?
Drop a few bombs, topple a dictator, and start a democracy.
I'm looking forward to a good game. I'm looking for, you know, a good single-player game that's hopefully longer than 4 to 6 hours, or 8 if you take a really long time. Most people know that Call of Duty is all about the multiplayer. There's only so clever I think you can get with some of these guns. Like, I think to some degree they outsmart themselves. You know, I'm into the idea of some future shield that goes up and down, and a laser beam that that shoots, you know, and it basically ties together so that the shield's smart enough to know when I shoot and it goes down automatically. It's like, all that stuff looks cool. The mech suit thing, it's natural progression. I mean, we see that stuff on TV all the time when they talk about future modern weapons, right? And surprise us. I guess that's probably the one underneath it all for a lot of Call of Duty folks, is we want to be surprised again, you know? It's got to be a little bit of what we love from Call of Duty, but it's got to do some new stuff, and I think that's really where you got to go with it. I spoke from the heart.
Now, Bryce, you must chat to a fair few professional players in your line of work, and I'm guessing they're all watching all the new announcements with keen anticipation. So what's the general vibe amongst the community after seeing the E3 stuff?
It's a little bit of a mixed bag, like it always is. They see these releases every year, and it's always kind of difficult for them to tell what's going to be the new big thing. One thing they kind of looked at was some of the mechanics, like is it going to be dolphin diving or sliding? It's been confirmed it's sliding now, so you won't be throwing yourself across the map and such.
Has that been well received?
A few people kind of like the dolphin diving thing. It was always like if you want to put a flag in, you just kind of throw yourself in there and try to get it. So some people like the sliding, some people like the throwing themselves. It's interesting to see, but Another thing is these exoskeletons have been talking about. How are they going to work? Are they going to change the core gunplay? Is it going to be more verticality on the maps? Is it going to be faster? They're all kind of wondering just how that's going to kind of bleed in to the way they like to play the game.
So it's how all of this stuff that we're only seeing in campaign at the moment, how that's going to cross over, and if indeed if it will fully cross over, which Sledgehammer seems to say it will.
Yeah, they kind of confirmed a few weeks back, I believe, about the exoskeletons will 100% be in multiplayer. I believe what they said, we've spent far too much time to not put it on in multiplayer. So that's kind of something we're prepared for, and you're kind of looking at going, right, well, how does that affect things? Is it going to be, you know, a massive change? Is it going to be, you know, higher jumping? Is it going to make the way bullets are received any better? Is it going to be higher health, lower health? All that kind of thing plays into the player's mind. They kind of mentally prepare themselves for the next game.
Potentially drastic stuff ahead then. Right, it's time to go loud. This is Go Loud, the part of the show where we hand things over to you, our attractive viewer. No, literally, that would be disastrous, but I'm going to read out your letters is what I'm trying to say. This week's question is, what's your favourite piece of future tech revealed in the Advanced Warfare induction gameplay video? First up, we have Tony Ainsworth, who says, I'm loving the look of the exoskeletons. If it's anything like Elysium, they will be amazing. Yeah, the exosuit. We've touched on this before. Yeah. These are augments that allow the soldiers to run faster, jump higher, and apparently even punch doors through. So when you breach now, it's more with your fists rather than your feet, or an explosive. What are your feelings on this?
I think this will be a great addition. It's definitely going to mix things up. I imagine people are going to have a lot of fun kind of selecting what they want from their exosuit. I imagine there's going to be different permutations of it. One thing I don't think a lot of people kind of realise that it's confirmed in multiplayer, but what if you don't have to put it on? What if you can kind of not wear an exosuit and be more stealthy?
Interesting. So you may have people that may be underpowered but able to kind of sneak in the shadows undetected as well. The other thing I've noticed as well is that apparently, as if the exoskeleton wasn't enough, you can then jump into a kind of a mechanized armor as well and basically double up with heavy armor and a huge kind of Gatling gun on your arm as well.
I think that's going to be great. It's kind of a different generation of Call of Duty. It's seeming like they're taking it to a different place with this one. I mean, Call of Duty's been, the last few permutations have been kind of the same. This one's a little bit different. They're kind of changing the formula a little bit.
They really are switching things up, aren't they? Do you think things like the heavy armor, for example, in multiplayer may indeed be some form of kill streak perk?
I suspect it might very well be. I think I'm kind of interested in the kill streaks in this game more than anything, because this is advanced warfare. This isn't just kind of things we have now like AC-130s. Just how far are they going to go with this future tech? Are we going to see these spider tanks suddenly just roll through a building onto the battlefield? It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Entire Sol satellite lasers leveling the battlefield that works. It could be crazy. Adam Miller says, it was the grenade that impressed me the most, and it may be a very, very simple concept, but the whole idea that those 3 grenades in your belt can do the job of 5 different types of grenade at the touch of a button is awesome. Yeah, in that trailer you see the non-lethal grenades can switch between 3 forms. I think there's like EMP and there's threat detection and flash as ever. And then on the offensive side you've got contact, frag, and smart, which also seems to be the point of some controversy.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how these grenades are going to work. Obviously, it's another thing to do with the multiplayer and how that's going to work when you pick your grenade. Because usually you're always like, oh, I want a Semtex, or I want a frag grenade, or I want to take a concussion, or a flashbang. Now it looks like you can just take them all. So you're not really going to have to pick. An interesting thing is people come up with, how is it stopping blowing up all 3?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure myself. I'll be honest, I'm not a chemical engineer in any way, but admittedly, if you can blow up 3 ways, why not just have it blow up 3 times?
Yeah, in 3 different ways, like identify the threat, flashbang them, and destroy their electronics at the same time. Why not? That would be incredible. Next, Adam Elliott says, for me, it's the drop pods they use at the start. It could be a very interesting component in multiplayer, especially search and destroy game types, if they use them as the spawn methods. I've not really considered them. I saw them as kind of some incidental detail in the campaign. I'm not really sure they'll be used as a gameplay mechanic.
They look like a cinematic to me. I don't think you can really put them into multiplayer, especially with the spawn system. If you're playing a respawn game type, it'd just be incredible. It'd just be drop pods all over the map. Some of them get up to 200 kills per team. So I think it's more a cinematic for the campaign than it is the multiplayer, so I very much doubt we'll see it.
Do you think players would be averse to any kind of aerial insertion for the multiplayer?
I think an aerial insertion could work, depending on how big the map was. I think small maps, it just wouldn't work. There'd be too much going on. There'd be a lot of stuff all over the battlefield. But I think a big map, it could work for the fact if they want to come in and just get into a kind of remote area.
Interesting. Ioannis Troyans says, the assault rifle, which is basically a weaponized 3D printer that prints bullets. Yeah, I've kind of read more up on this. I was kind of impressed with the holographic HUD, you know, taking your attention away from the rest of the screen. But now it turns out that the gun is actually using a canister of liquid, and the gun itself is generating its own ammo, printing its own ammo with the liquid.
I just think it's a great concept to begin with, if I'm honest. It's one of those things where essentially it does the same thing. It's still going to have to put a canister in, it's still going to fire bullets out the end, but it's just kind of the internal mechanics. I'm not sure how it's going to affect gameplay too much, because like I said, it seems like kind of a similar thing. Instead of a clip you're putting in, you just put in a canister.
Yeah.
So I imagine it'll play pretty much the same, but it's kind of cool just to think about.
You don't think there's going to be like bullet jamming tray 1 in the middle of combat so you can't fire or anything like that?
It's I want to see if they do something like that. They haven't really ever had jamming in weapons in Call of Duty before, but maybe something does go wrong.
A low toner warning in the middle of combat would be... that'd be a game changer. Right. Thanks to everyone who participated this week. If your opinion wasn't read out, don't worry, there are plenty more opportunities to get involved. Like right now, in fact. If you want to be considered for next week's Go Loud, furnish me with an answer to the following question. Which of Invasion's 4 new multiplayer maps are you enjoying the most? More to the point, why? Tweet your response at GameSpot using the hashtag #AimDown. While you're at it, I'd also like to get some inspiration for custom 1v1 private match games so that I can try them out on a future show against my guests. Ideally, there should be some sort of stipulation that puts me at a massive advantage because, let's face it, I'm going to need all the help I can get. And also, if you have any particularly spectacular replays you'd like to share with our other viewers, get sending those in too. And that's it for the very first Aim Down sites. Thanks to my guest, Brycey. Brycey, I mean, how can people keep track of your activities?
The best way if you want to know anything Call of Duty and esports-wise is my Twitter, at BryceTacular. Pretty much live on there.
And do you have a channel on YouTube or anything like that people
Not
can
at
follow?
the moment. I'm too busy being on camera for various live events.
What a celeb. If you'd like to get in touch with me directly, tweet at Mr. Pointyhead or at GameSpot, making sure to include the #AimDown hashtag. Also, don't forget to join the conversation over on the official Call of Duty forums at community.callofduty.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Pre-order now for Xbox.